Hello guys, so today we are moving to intermediate topics and that is object-oriented programming, which is one of the core fundamental concepts in programming. And without it, coding would be a mess. I'll be doing a series on object-oriented programming where I'll be diving into all the concepts such as encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. And this will be part one of the series where you guys will learn the concept of classes and how to create them in Java. If you guys do find this helpful, please help me out as well by subscribing. So the best way to learn programming is to actually write code. And that's what we'll be doing, which you guys can follow along. And let's get started. Let's create a project called class example. In Java, everything is associated with class as an object. When we created this class example project, it created a class called main. We can always rename this to anything we want, but by default, IntelliJ creates a class as main. Now, inside, we have this main method. This is very important because this is what tells us what the entry point of the application or project is. This method we cannot rename. We have to keep it as main. All right, so what are classes? Classes are a template or a blueprint for creating an object. And objects basically represents an entity in a real world. For example, let's say we have a class car that has attributes of a car such as number of doors, types of engine, color, and so on. Object of that can be, let's say, a Mercedes or Honda or Toyota. Each of these objects have unique properties of a car, and the class car helps us describe those properties. Another example can be of Facebook. Let's say Facebook get information from a database of user accounts. Class would be, let's say, an account, and objects of that would be us. Each of us have unique properties from username, password, date of birth, and so on. All right, let's do an example. Let's create a class called Facebook account. And by the way, this is the naming convention of classes in Java. It follows camel case, meaning the first letter of each word would be capital. We don't have to follow this, but this is just a standard described in Java, so it's always good to follow that standard. All right, our Facebook account class is created. And what this public keyword here means is that basically every single class within this project will have access to this Facebook account class. There's also something called private classes as well, but they can only be inner classes. We don't see it that often in Java, but there are some cases where you may need it. And I won't be going into that in this video. Okay, we need to now define what the class does by adding attributes, which are variables, and methods. Methods are optional as it depends on the use case as well. So let's define some of the attributes of this class. So let's say we have username, we have, let's say, password. All right, we can say we have age. And let's do one more. Let's say maybe, let's make this a Boolean. And let's say whether if that person is married or not. So these are the attributes of this Facebook account class. These are also called instance variables. Now, in object-oriented programming, there's a special method called constructor, which allows us to construct an object of a class. In Java, the compiler will automatically create a default constructor for us if you don't define one. And it looks like this. So we use public, the name of the class, with an empty parameter. It doesn't take in any parameter, the method, and this is a default constructor. All right, instead of creating this default constructor, I'm going to create a constructor that takes in two parameters, username and password. Basically, what I'm telling it is in order to create an object of Facebook account class, you need to provide these two parameters, username and password. And I will set it equal to the attributes of this class. This dot username is equal to username, and this dot password is equal to password. This is a special keyword in Java, and what it means is it's referring to the attributes of this class, in this case, username and password. I don't have to use this, but in this case, I'm using it as the names of my parameters are the same, and it helps avoid confusion. Okay, let's see how to create an object of this Facebook account. We're gonna head over to main. Let me remove this. We are going to call up our Facebook account class. We are going to create an object. Let's call it FB. And in order to do that, we use this new keyword, new Facebook account. And this takes in a username and a password. So let's create a username, Mr. Programmer, and password, let's just say is hello. So this new keyword, what we're saying is construct me a new object called FB from this Facebook account class. And we're calling our constructor here, which takes in two parameters, a username and a password. Now we have access to all the attributes and the methods within this Facebook account class. So for example, we have access to its married, age, password, and username. So maybe you can say, if the person is married, we can say is false. We can set the age of that person. Let's say age is, I don't know, 25. All right. And we can even print it out. So let's print out all the attributes. So fb dot age, and let's copy this. All right, there you go. So we have access to the object of FB. The person age is 25, the username is Mr. Programmer, the password is hello, and the person is not married. Let's create a new account. So we can create a new Facebook account as well with a new object. Let's call it user2. And we're going to construct a new object again using this new keyword. And let's maybe call this person John. And password is going to be password. You can do the same thing. We can say user2. Is he married? You can say it's true. Set the age of that person to be, I don't know, let's say 50. All right. And we can do the same thing. Let's print out the info for that user. So let's replace this with user2. Okay, so over here we can see user object. The first one was this, right? And the second one is this. So you can see the difference between objects and classes. We created two different objects from this one Facebook account class. Each of these objects had their own attributes: age, whether they were married, their own username, and password. Now that we have seen the attributes or the instance variable of this object, what if we want to create a method and get access to that? Let's create maybe a method that encrypts the password. All right, we're not going to return anything, so we're going to use void. And let's call this method encrypt password. And we are going to get access to this password. So with this, we are trying to get access to the instance variable or the attribute for that object. All right. So this dot password is equal to, we're going to use base 64 encoding. So let's do that. All right, we have encrypted our password. And let's say we want to get the encrypted password. We want to return the encrypted password. Okay, and let's test this out. So let's say here, we are going to do fb dot. Now we have access to this method. You can see the m there. So m is a method, which is encrypt password. We are going to encrypt this password, which was hello. And let's print out what that looks like. Get encrypt password. We have this method. Let's run this. All right, so this is our encrypted password for hello. All right, let's do the same thing for the other object as well. So let's just copy this and do that here. We're going to use the user2 object. All right, there you go. So this is the encrypted password for this password. And that was for the other object for hello. Now that we have encrypted the password, let's say we want to decrypt that password. So let's create a new method that decrypts that password for us. This will return a string. And we can say get decrypt password. And over here, we are going to return a new string. Since we use base 64 encoding, we're going to use a base 64 decoder as well. And we can call this get encrypt password, which has the encrypted password. Let's test this out. So let's copy this, call this decrypt. And let's replace this with get decrypt password. And let's do the same thing for the other object as well. All right, there you go. So we have the encrypted password there and the decrypted password, which matches the first one, hello. And for the second object, that was encrypted, and the actual decrypted password was password, which we can see there. Now, why are classes important, or why is object oriented important? Well, they help us organize code. It makes it very easy to read and maintain. We can reuse a lot of functionality, as we did here when we were encrypting and decrypting the password, and it allows us to easily extend as well. There are four major concepts to object oriented programming: encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. I will have a separate video detailing each of these concepts. Let me give you an example. Let's say we're building a house. When we are constructing this house, we wouldn't just build a house with one very large room that will have kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, or garage all in one single room. We would divide it up into multiple sections so it becomes easy to navigate, it gives us more privacy, and allows us to easily maintain the house. And this is how object oriented programming helps us. So, a quick recap of what we went over today. We discussed what classes are. They are a blueprint or a template for an object. Object is created by instantiating a class using this new keyword and calling the constructor of the class, which is a special method that allows us to construct an object. We discussed the attributes of the classes, which are also called instance variable, and methods of classes as well. Hopefully, this video helped you guys get a better understanding of classes and gave a good stepping into object-oriented programming world. If it did, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe. I will have a series on this, and in the next videos, we will discuss the four major concepts to object-oriented programming: encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism.